Hello everyone, this is Gracie here. In this video, we'll be discussing about your IFRS chapter unit 2, which is accounting for assets and liabilities. Under accounting for assets and liabilities, the topic covered is investment property in AS 40. So let us get into the definition of investment property. The term investment property refers to an investment in land or building, part of a building, or both, if held by the owner with an intention of earning rentals or for capital appreciation or for both. So, what is investment property? What, according to Ind AS 40, what items are covered under investment property is any assets or any land or a building which generates rental income or provides capital appreciation. Capital appreciation is from the sale of such property you get an income more than the purchase price which you have bought a few years back. For example, you purchase an asset 3 years back for 1 lakh rupees, and when you're selling it after a longer period of time you get 1 lakh 50. So when here the capital appreciation is your 50,000. So when you get a capital appreciation of it, or when you get a rental income out of it, is called an investment property. So which are the there are many invest properties which doesn't fall under Ind AS 40. Only land and buildings or any other investment properties which get you income through rentals or brings you capital appreciation after a long period of time lies under investment property. There are certain items like any investment property or any land or building which is used in the production or supply of goods or services or for administration purposes doesn't lie or which doesn't come under investment property. So what are the excludes which doesn't come under investment properties? That is property which is held for use in the production or supply of goods or services for administration purposes. It doesn't come under Ind AS 40, but it comes under IAS 16 property, plant and equipment standard. So such any income which is generated or any property which is used for producing goods and services or for any other administration purpose, and income generated out of it will be coming under IAS 16 property, plant and equipment. It will not come under investment property. Next, any property held for sale in ordinary course of business or in the process of construction or development for such sale. So that's the best example of this will be finance lease. So when it comes to investment property, it is operating lease. So what is operating lease and finance leases? Operating lease is a lease where the ownership of the asset is not transferred to the lessor and lessor is the owner of the asset. Lessee is the person who's taking it for a period of time for finishing his activity or for his purpose of business. So when it is operating lease, it is only where the ownership is not transferred, only the asset is transferred to the lessee for a certain period of time to accomplish his task. But when it is coming to finance lease, where the asset along with the ownership is transferred, where if the lessee pays the final settlement, the asset becomes the lessee. So the ownership is transferred from the lessor to the lessee. That is known as your finance lease. So any asset which is held in ordinary course of business or which is sold in the ordinary course of business or it acts as a finance lease will not come under your investment property. It comes under IAS 2 inventories. Next, property being constructed or developed on behalf of third parties. So when you do construction or when you have any relationship with a third party, it becomes a contract between two parties. So any property being constructed or developed on behalf of the third party will not come under investment property. Such properties will be going under construction contracts. So that which is IAS 11. Then owner occupied property. So when it is owner occupied property, there is no any income generated out of it. It is only benefited to the owner. So it comes under same property, plant and equipment, which will not be included in investment property. So property leased to an entity under any finance lease, which is included, which is under finance lease, or which is sold in ordinary course of business, which is not applicable under investment property. So finally, what this definition concludes is any property which brings rental income or any capital appreciation during its course, is known as investment property. So the next slide is recognition criteria for investment property. So how is it recognized is uh, for an investment property shall be recognized as an asset when it is portable, that the future economic benefits that are associated with the investment property will flow to the entity. The cost of investment property can be measured reliably. So when it is portable, that the future economic benefit that are associated with investment property will flow to the entity. So from that asset there is any economic benefits which is generated, or which that asset or that property gives a future cash flow to the entity, then it is being recognized as an investment property. Then the cost of investment property can be measured reliably. Yes, the cost of such investment property, or the acquiring cost of such property, can be measured easily. So I can give an example of investment property. If an entity owns a building that it rents out to independent third parties under operating lease in return for rental payments. So when an entity or a building is given to a third party under operating lease for in return for rental payment, it comes under investment property. Then, if an entity owns a building, it rents out to independent third party under operating lease. In return for rental payments, entity provides cleaning, security, and maintenance services for the lessee of the building. Where this, even though he is providing any services, or even though he is giving along with the asset is giving services to the lessee, it is considered as investment property because he is earning rental income out of it. So this is your recognition criteria, where the asset gives you a future economic benefit and the cost of that property can be measured easily. So after your recognition criteria, you have measurement of recognition. So recognition, investment property is recognized an asset when it is portable, that the future economic benefits that are associated with the property will flow to the enterprise, and the cost of the property can be reliably measured. So how can it be recognized? When it gives a good return. So when the property gives good return, it is being recognized. So how are you going to measure the recognition? Initial measurement, investment property is initially measured at cost. Yes, it is initially measured at cost, including transaction cost. So this cost which is capitalized is where it adds on the value of the asset, is known as capitalized asset, where the value of the asset is being added on. So any expenses which is incurred for the development of the asset is known as your qualifying asset, or which is capitalized, where such incomes or such expenses can be capitalized for the development of that particular asset. So there are certain expenses which need to be recorded in the income statement but which cannot be capitalized, are known as which includes startup cost, abnormal wastage, or initial operating losses incurred before the investment property achieves the planned level of occupancies. So anything which is for the development of the asset or which increases the value of the asset can be considered for capitalization. But the startup costs, so any cost for setting up that machine, or operating losses which is incurred for the investment property in order to achieve the occupancy, or for example adjusting lights, or repairing the walls, or painting the walls in a property or in a building, doesn't come under your which is considered as your operating loss, which can be treated as an expense, because you frequently keep on doing it when the asset is being when the occupancy is being transferring. So that is a normal loss which is incurred. So such losses will be will be recorded as an expenses in your income statement. Then abnormal amounts of wasted material, labors, other resources incurred in constructing or developing the property. For example, each time you keep on changing the model or keep on changing the furnitures, or you keep on the painting charges and the labor charges which is incurred to change the building view, will come under their expenses under income statement. So which is a recurring expenses. When it is a recurring expenses, it can't be capitalized, but it can be considered in your income statement as an expenses which you have met for the improvement of your building. So to be capitalized, any assets to be capitalized, then it should be like which adds on the value of an building. For example, an extra space in the land is used for is used for renting, and you get income out of it. So when construction of building over the land, so which is adding on value to the land there. So where a building is constructed and you get income out of it, and there are such construction activity or such expenses which is related to development of an asset which brings capital appreciation can be capitalized. But these are the expenses which is recurring, like your startup cost, like your making improvement in the interior works of the building, for the occupant to occupy the building, or any labor charges or any waste materials. So such expenses cannot be capitalized, rather it can be carried on in the income statement. Then you have subsequent measurement. So this is a measurement of what which states what kind of expenses to be classified in income as well as what to be capitalized. But when it comes to subsequent measurement, according to Ind AS 40, an organization may choose between two models, fair value model and the cost model. So what is fair value model is, investment property is measured at fair value, which is the amount for which the property would be exchanged between knowledgeably willing parties in an arm's length transactions. So here where the buyer as well as the seller are satisfied with the price. So fair value model and cost model differs here. So what is the basic difference in the fair value model is, under fair value model the investment property is remeasured at end of each reporting period. So but under the cost model, investment property is measured at less accumulated depreciation. So where it deducts all the losses, all the depreciation, and then the value of the asset is being judged. But when it comes to fair value model, it is based on the approval of the buyer and the seller. When it is talking about the asset or investment property, it is based on the buyer and the seller, where the buyer sells the property for just an example, sells it for rupees 100 now, and the seller buys it for 100 with an hope that he can sell that property in future for 130 rupees, where it is an understanding between the buyer and the seller, so which is decided at the end of each reporting period. So based on the market value or market conditions, and based on the place of the market for that particular product. So it is the demand for that product which decides the fair value, so with the hope that in future it gets a good return. So such assets can get up with fair value model. But the cost model, where it states that it is being judged after minusing the depreciation and all the losses incurred. So fair value is disclosed, gains and losses on disposal are recognized in profit and losses. So here your fair value is when it is disclosed, any gains and losses which is included in it by judging the fair value, such information will be disclosed in your profit and loss, both under your fair value model as well as in cost model. So I hope you all understood what is fair value model and cost model. In fair value model and cost model, the only thing is there is no depreciation in fair value model, but depreciation is present in cost model. And so in fair value model, If an entity determines that the fair value of an investment property under construction is not reliably determinable, but accepts the fair value of the property to be reliably determinable when construction is complete, it measures that investment property under construction at cost until either its fair value becomes reliably determinable or construction is completed. So, deciding fair value model is based on the market conditions. What is the price in the market? Based on that, they decided. It is just a normal judgment which is made rather than calculate heavy calculation being imposed on it. So it is based on the satisfaction of the buyer and the seller and the market conditions. So if the buyer or the seller are not satisfied with the value which has been set under fair value model, they can do a complete study on the asset, what is the rate of the asset in the market, how is it between the how is the surrounding value of that asset. So fair value is completely a research activity based on the study of marketing neighbor market conditions, and what is the value of the asset in different locations, and in that particular location what is the demand for it. Based on the research of that particular asset, the value will be decided. So if the buyer or the seller is not satisfied, they can do the valuation again and again until the reliable information or reliable cost has been satisfied by them. So, but when it comes to cost model, it is the exact value of the book based on the, as it is less accumulated depreciation and less accumulated impairment losses. So the asset value will be based on the entities performance. So how long wear and tear of the asset will be considered in it. So this is your fair value model and cost model. So when it comes to disposal, so what is disposal here is how is it being treated. So disposable is how it is being disclosed. Before getting into disposable, the fair value model and the cost model. If the buyer or the seller are not satisfied with the fair value model, they can shift the valuation, or if they are not reliable with the price of the fair value model, they can shift their valuation method to cost valuation model. So the entity shall apply Ind AS 16 until the disposal of investment property. So, after initial recognition, investment property is accounted for in accordance with cost model as set out in Ind AS 16. Property, plant and equipment cost less accumulated depreciation and less accumulated impairment losses. So, transfer to or from investment property should only be made when there is a change in use evidenced by one or more of the following. Usually, cost model is applicable, or when it is majorly used is when an investment property is transferred to other properties or other sections like inventories, or it is converted into inventories, or if it is converted into owner occupied properties, or it is into a contract agreement between the properties engaged into contract agreement with between the other parties, or it is into a construction contract which is leased out, or which is sold out for a construction contract. When it is engaged in such, then cost valuation model is used, where based on the usage of the asset, the value should be decided, as it is shifting from investment property to the other properties. So then the cost value model will be applicable. Until and that for capital appreciation or to earn rental, then fair value model is suitable. So in case if the buyer or the seller are not reliable, or they're not getting reliable determination on the value of the asset, then they can shift to the cost model to determine the exact worth of the assets. But usually cost model is used when there is transfer from investment property to the other classifications, like if the investment property is occupied by the owner, or if the asset has been sold out, so a commencement of development with a view to sale, so where the asset is sold out for any production or any activities, so which is considered as inventory or for which is considered under as inventories. So end of owner occupation, so transferred from owner occupied property to investment property. If the asset is transferred from, it can be, cost model can be used for both when it is transferred from investment property to owner occupied property, as well as when it is transferred from owner occupied property to investment property. To determine the value, cost model method can be used. Commencement of an operating lease to another party, transfer from inventories to investment property, then transfer from property in course of construction development to investment property. Either way, when an asset is being transferred from investment property to other properties, or from the other properties, owner occupied properties, to investment property, to determine the exact value of the asset, the cost value method is used, because it determines based on the wear and tear of the asset, based on the usage of the asset, which minuses your depreciations and accumulated impairment losses. So it gives you an exact value of the an asset. So when it comes to disposal, an investment property should be derecognized on disposal, or when the investment property is permanently withdrawn from use and no future economic benefits are expected from its disposal. So when is an investment property considered as disposal? Is when there is no recognition out of it, when it is totally derecognized, when there is no hope that it would generate a future economic, or that there is benefit out of it, then it will be disposed, or which will be when there is no proper income after it, there is no any proceeds, net proceeds what you're receiving out of it, then such property will be disposed. So the gain or the loss on disposal should be calculated as difference between net disposal proceeds and carrying amount of the asset, and should be recognized as income or expenses in the income statement. Okay, so this is the end of your investment property. Thank you everyone.